Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to this evening's annual council meeting on the 15th of May 2024. Welcome to all the councillors, all those in the gallery and those online, and my guests over there that I will refer to later, and press and everyone else who's attending, and the Youth Council MP as well. It's nice to have them here. So I will just go through the emergency procedures. So in case of an emergency, there are no planned fire drills during this meeting. If you hear the alarm, if you hear the alarm sound, then please treat it as a real emergency and evacuate the building via the nearest safe escape route. The nearest route is via the stairs to your left as you leave the council chamber or the public gallery. Exit via the door at the back of the building and walk across the inner car park to the evacuation point, which is the pavement outside opposite the police station. The lifts cannot be used in the event of emergency. Please do not re-enter the building until you advise it's safe to do so by a member of staff. I would like to advise members of the press this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live, press and public, and mobile phones should be switched off unless they're being used for the meeting. Please only speak when I ask you to do so and speak clearly into the microphone. Do we have any apologies that I don't know of? I believe Councillor Brodie might be late, but I don't have anyone else. No, no one that's not been notified of. Okay. Right, so the first item of business this evening is to elect a chairman of the council for the ensuing year. So I ask for nominations for chairman. Councillor Spink?
Would you like to nominate Councillor Jarman, please?
Okay, so and Councillor P.C. Wilcox?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Councillor Love, please.
And Councillor Love. I would like a seconder for the nomination. So, Councillor Spink, do you have a seconder? Councillor Medland? Yes.
Yes, I would also like to nominate Councillor Jarman due to his great knowledge of the Constitution.
Thank you. And Councillor P.C. Wilcox, do you have a seconder? Councillor Luciani?
With great pleasure to second. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I speak to the nomination?
Yes, you can. You can indeed.
Thank you. I've known Councillor Love for a number of years now because we seem to share the River Medina and the dreaded floating bridge. So we've met over many years, particularly at civic events, with so many that we've been to over the years. David, Carl's husband, is the most amazing man. I don't know where he is, but he's the one that organises Carl, gets out his clothes ready and makes sure that Carl's all ready and fabulous for events. He's an absolute star. They always, the pair of them, turn out absolutely beautifully turned out and immaculate. It's lovely. They're really generous, superb hosts. And finally, many years, this has been, I know, a real dream of Councillor Love to do this, to hold the position of chairman. And I would like to ensure that both their dreams come true. Thank you.
Councillor Spink, would you like to speak also?
If I may, I'd just be very brief. Simply this really, that Councillor Love, in my view, has been a very good vice chairman, and I'm sure will perform, if he were to be elected, his role as chair equally well. My only contention, as it were, and why I support Councillor Jarman, is that I think even Councillor Love would probably give way to this, and that is that Councillor Jarman does know the Constitution inside out. And I do think, and this I hope isn't too controversial, but I do think at times when there seems to be a number of different views about the Constitution, it's extremely important that we have a chair who can interpret the Constitution. And for that reason, I ask full council to support Councillor Jarman.
Thank you, Councillor Spink. Is there any other nominations before we proceed with these two? Nope, we have those two on the table. So would anyone else like to speak on those nominations? Either Councillor Jarman or Councillor Love? Councillor Stevens.
I wasn't going to, Chairman, but what I would like to say is that we always look to the monitoring officer for advice and guidance. And when I was chairman many moons ago, I utilised that facility. I think that every one of us sat in this chamber has certain attributes and certain talents. But at the end of the day, we have qualified advice, which even if I tend to think I know, I refer to from time to time. So I think that what we need to do is make sure that whoever is elected utilises our top team. Thank you.
Councillor Jones-Evans.
Thank you, Chair. I too am going to be using my vote to support Councillor Love this evening. Carl and I once were in a group of two, weren't we, Carl? So we worked very well together and supported each other when we were kind of couple of little singletons on our own. But it's great to be able to see the growth in you as a councillor and a community representative, Carl. And I know this is a very special moment should you be elected, not just for you, but for our community, for diversity and equality across our island. It's be a historic moment for our council. So I do hope that a lot of people put their hands up for you this evening. So it's important not only for you and David, but also for the island, I feel.
Thank you very much. With no other comments, I think I will call on the monitoring officer to call out each councillor's name and to announce the candidate that you are voting for, whether it is Councillor Love or Councillor Jarman. Mr. Potter, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, and good evening, councillors and members of the public and press. As the Chairman's just said, if you could please indicate whether you are voting for Councillor Jarman or Councillor Love when your name is called out, or if you wish to abstain. So, Councillor Andre.
My vote is for Councillor Carl Love.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Daw.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Downer. Thank you. Councillor Fuller. Thank you. Councillor Jones-Evans.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Lever.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Lucioni.
Councillor Carl Love.
Thank you. Councillor PC Wilcox.
Councillor Carl Love.
Thank you. Councillor Stevens.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Garrett.
Councillor Carl Love.
Councillor Lilly.
I vote for Love.
Thank you.
Love.
Councillor Sarah Redrup, please.
I vote for Councillor Carl Love.
Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Quigley.
Councillor Love.
Thank you. Councillor Beston.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Blake.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Brading.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Churchman.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Drew.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Ellis.
Councillor Jarman.
Councillor Hendry. Thank you. Councillor Mosdell.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Nicholson.
Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Oliver.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Outlaw.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Price.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Quirk.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Ray Redrup.
Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Robertson.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Jarman. Thank you. Just asking. Councillor Medland, please.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Spink.
Councillor Jarman.
Thank you. Councillor Jordan.
Councillor Love.
Councillor Love, thank you. Councillor Love,
Humbly, Councillor Love.
thank you. And Councillor Christensen,
Councillor Love.
thank you. Thank you, Chairman. The vote is as follows. Votes for Councillor Jarman, 19. Votes for Councillor Love, 19. So the vote is tied.
Okay, with 19 all, then I get to use my casting vote and I vote for Councillor Love to have the extra vote.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations.
I confirm that Councillor Love, so I could now declare that Chairman is to declare that Councillor Love is duly elected as Chairman of the Council for the ensuing year. And I call on the Chief Exec to ask for an adjournment.
Thank you. Members of the chamber, we're going to have a short recess whilst the chain of office is exchanged and various bits of paperwork are signed by the newly elected chairman. Thank you. Members of the chamber, members of the public in the gallery, and for those listening online, the chairman will now sign the declaration.
And on behalf of the chairman, I'll actually read out the declaration of acceptance of office, which he's just signed the first copy of. Declaration of acceptance of office. I, Councillor Carl Love, having been elected to the office of chairman of the Isle of Wight Council, declare I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. So I'll now ask the chairman to sign the second copy, please. And I'll sign the first copy as proper office. Thank you.
I say I will. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for your support this evening. I'd like to thank those of you who voted for me and to reach out to those across the chamber. I realise that tonight is well, quite an interesting election because of the political makeup of the council, and of course in this role I will try my best to be fair and supportive to everybody in this chamber, and it really is quite a special moment really for me personally to say, because I never ever thought I would be in a position like this, and so it's a great privilege and I'm very humbled to be sat in this chair. I would like to obviously thank Claire for her role in this chair for the last 2 years, and to wish her well in the future. But it's been great learning from you, observing you, and thank you so much for everything that you've done for your community. You've been a great ambassador for this council and this role. So thank you. Yeah, so we've got a small presentation here for you and of our appreciation as a council, and just to say thank you so much. And I invite you to, would you like to say a few words?
Thanks. Yes, so I'd like to say a few words quickly, and thank you to all those that supported me over the last couple of years and the councillors across the chamber. It's been an interesting time. So I feel like I'm in the naughty corner now, but yeah, looking forward to what comes ahead. But so my year as vice chair and 2 years of chair have been a fantastic opportunity. I'm very grateful for that chance to be in this position. It's given me so many occasions to attend events, present awards, represent the council and support the community. And that's been amazing experiences. And some of the best have been the school and youth groups visiting the council, the royal visits, civic services, the remembrance parades, the commemorations, the citizenship ceremonies, the Coburg 20th anniversary visits, presenting awards, and many wonderful community events I've been able to be part of. And my last official engagement was on Monday at the opening of the Dementia Cafe in Cowes, and seeing that building brought back into use for the community for that purpose was very special to me, as my grandmother suffered with dementia and used to work at Parklands when it was a children's home. So it was a really nice last thing to do, and having followed that journey of seeing that project happen, it was a delight to see it and completed for our residents of the island. And I'd like to thank all the speakers I had for the moments of reflection before full council. I had a varied selection of faiths come in and represent from the Baha'i, Buddhist, Jewish, Catholic and Church of England. And it was been enlightening to learn about the experiences and different faiths that they have, and the prayers, guidance and thoughts before the meetings have been extremely valuable. And I'm grateful to all those that gave up their time, and I hope there'll be an opportunity for that to continue. So I'll be speaking to the new chair about that. I would like to thank Jeff for his guidance when I was in vice chair and when he was the chairman, and I'd like to thank both my ex-vice chairs of Councillor Lilly and Councillor Love, and congratulate him in his new role now as chairman. I would also like to mention the resignation of Shirley Smart from Newport's and Carisbrooke Community Council, that she has given over 40 years of public service, and our thanks and thoughts go to Shirley at this time. And lastly, but not least, I had a charity for the last 2 years, which was the South White Area Youth. And they have been my charity for the last 2 years, and I've supported the organisation and raised money by holding cake sales, guided walks, garden open days, all sorts of little bits and bobs to raise some money. And I'd like to thank those that also organised and took part in the Isle of Wight Council staff quiz, because they donated the money to that charity as well. So my total raised for Sway is £1,806.50, but I'll also be adding to that the coins gathered from the material recovery facility, which processes our recycling. So there are bags of coins that we will be counting up very soon to add to that. So I would like to welcome up the representatives from Sway. We've got Andrew and Peter, the accountant and leaders, and some of the young people. So we've got, come on up. Yeah, there's Grace and Sophia. Either way, yeah, come on round. Thank you. So I'm going to present them with a check, and go over there now for a photo.
Would the press like to just come over and take a picture?
I just finished that by thanking the representatives from Sway for coming in, so that South White Area Youth help young people and their families in the south of the island in the rural areas. So it's really, I'm glad I can be part of that and help them to keep continuing to help the community. So thank you to Sway. And that's all from me. So I'll be quiet in the corner now. Thanks. Over to Councillor Love.
So I keep pressing the wrong button. And so we now move on to the election of the vice chairman for the council. And so I would like to ask for any nominations. Councillor Mosdale.
Firstly, on behalf of this side of the chamber, we'd like to say congratulations, Councillor Love. We think you will make an excellent chair, and we look forward to spending the next year in your company. We would like to nominate Councillor Churchman for the position of vice chair.
And I look to a seconder for that. Thank you, Councillor Brading. Any further?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Ian Dorr, and they'd like to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Luciani. And I look for a seconder for that. Councillor Andre. Would anybody like to speak to those individuals? See Councillor Luciani.
I won't speak for too long, but I do want to bring up the wonderful work that Councillor Dorr has done with the armed forces and his career in the armed forces. He's done excellent work around that, and he also, as in his own words, he's a flood hater, and don't forget he's a superstar DJ. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Could I have my personal congratulations to you also on your appointment as Chair of the Council this evening? Yes, I'm happy to nominate, pleased to nominate Councillor Churchman. She's a long-standing councillor. I hope the role is a non-political role, and Vanessa represents this council at many national events, pension events, that sort of thing. I think she'll be an excellent member representing the council in the community with you. And I think your skills of attending events together in a non-political manner will be excellent for this council. And I think as a long-standing councillor, Vanessa is the perfect choice to be your chair, your deputy chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Thank you, and my congratulations, Chair, on your election. Sorry I missed it. You knew I was going to miss it. I've just got back from Southampton Hospital and I didn't reveal who I would vote for because I knew I wouldn't be here, but congratulations. I hope it works out well for you. I think it's important tonight to recognise that the role is primarily a non-political role, which sadly was broken when I was the chair. Don't know why I was put forward, and I ridiculously accepted it because I'm a political animal to my boots, and I was a political chair of the council. However, I do think that in a no overall control council, which we all recognise we are, and that there should be a vice chair to you, somebody from the opposition, for want of a better word. I also think it's important to have gender balance. When I was chair, Claire was my vice chair. Claire's been the vice chair, the chair for the last 2 years. You were a vice chair. Michael Lilly was a vice chair. I think Vanessa Churchman should be rewarded with this role, which I have no doubt she will fulfil excellently. Vanessa was elected on the same day as I was in 2005. She did lose for 4 years because she went independent, and now she quickly went back to the Tories to make sure she got elected again. And without any disrespect to Vanessa, Vanessa, like me, is getting on a bit. Ian Dawes a young man. He's got a young family. Now, I know that shouldn't matter, but Ian's chance is going to come again. He's, from my perception, done a pretty good job as the ward councillor for Binstead, and I'd be astonished if the people of Binstead didn't re-elect him if he wants to be re-elected. I don't know what Vanessa's intentions are. She's still going to keep trucking from Shanklin to Ryde. I don't know, but perhaps not. I've decided to pack it in a year. So I certainly endorse Vanessa. I would encourage everybody to treat this as a cross-political thing, but also to ensure we have a cross-gender ticket. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, Councillor.
Thank you, Chairman. Like Jeff, I got elected the same year as Vanessa.
Yeah.
And Vanessa is a person who, if you like, sits in the background and doesn't necessarily make a lot of noise. But she is so diligent, it's untrue. I know some of the things that she does, and I think to myself, oh my God, I don't think I could bring myself to put that effort into what she does. And she does do a tremendous lot. I mean, she goes off to the mainland all at her own expense to attend committee meetings and all that sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, why would she do that? She does it because she's dedicated to it. She's dedicated to the service of islanders and obviously her own constituents. If I had to choose someone to be the chairman even, it would be Vanessa. She is a tremendous character, like I said, diligent, hardworking, and knows her stuff. which is equally important. And, you know, she's done the time to know her stuff. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? Councillor Mosdale. Sorry.
Don't worry, it's only quick. Do you know, I would vote for Councillor Dorr because I think he would be an excellent vice chair, and I think in the future he would be an excellent chair of the council. I think his commitment to the island is absolutely excellent, but I think at this point in time, it's Vanessa's time. She served this council so well, and you know, she was such a great friend to my dad when he was a councillor. You know, I know he'll be looking down and going, do you know what? Give Vanessa a chance. So, you know, they served really well together. And now I think it's just for this last year of this council term. Ian, I would vote for you. But I just think at this precise moment in time, for the last year, it should be Vanessa. She has served you all well for many years. Thank you.
And of course,
I would like to speak on behalf of Councillor Dorr, that he has supported me at lots of events and he's been completely non-political and very good at listening to the community and being part of the community and being there for residents. And I think he's just really good at doing that kind of role, and he would be brilliant at being a vice chair because he could continue on that. And he has all the skills that would need. So I would also like to put forward my endorsement of him. Thank you.
thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? So Redrup.
Thank you and congratulations, Carl. I think that's really hard to follow. I completely agree about Vanessa. And about the gender parity as well. But I would like to speak on behalf of Ian Dorr. I haven't been a councillor for very long, but in the time that I've been here, Councillor Dorr has been hugely supportive, helping me to find out how things work and showing me the ropes. And he's just been really down to earth. And I see the way that he interacts with people and the way that he interacts with his residents and also mine. And I have full faith that he would be fantastic at this role. And he's done a fantastic job so far with Armed Forces Day. He's put in so much effort despite difficult times that he's gone through recently. And I do think that he is well worthy of this role as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've got two excellent candidates here, and thank you for nominating them both are worthy of this position. So let us move to the vote, and I ask the monitoring officer to preside.
Thank you, Chairman, and obviously congratulations. Two nominations for the position of Vice Chairman of the Council, Councillor Vanessa Churchman and Councillor Ian Dorr. As before, I will read out your name. If you could please indicate whether you're voting for Councillor Vanessa Churchman or Councillor Ian Dorr. Councillor Andre.
Councillor Ian Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon.
Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Pritchardson.
Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Dorr. Thank you. Councillor Downer. Thank you. Councillor Fuller.
Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Jones-Evans.
Councillor Ian Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Lever.
Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Lucioni.
Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor PC Wilcox. Thank you. Councillor Stevens.
Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Garrett.
Councillor Ian Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Lilly.
Councillor Ian Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Sarah Redrup.
Councillor Ian Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Ian Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Quigley.
DJ and Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. Councillor Beston.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Blake.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Brading.
Delighted, Councillor Churchman.
Councillor Churchman.
Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Drew.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Ellis.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Henry.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Mosdell.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Nicholson.
Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Oliver.
Mr. Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Outlaw. Thank you. Councillor Price.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Quirk.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Ray Redrup.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Robertson.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Ward. Thank you. Councillor Brodie.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Adams. Councillor Dawn, thank you. Councillor Jarman.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Medland.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Spink.
Councillor Churchman.
Thank you. Councillor Jordan.
Councillor Daw.
Thank you. Councillor Love.
Councillor Daw.
Thank you. Yep. Chairman, the votes were.
So the votes were cast 19, Councillor Daw, and congratulations, Vanessa Churchman. You are now. Yeah.
The benefit of members in the chamber, those in the public gallery and those listening this evening, the newly elected vice chairman is signing the relevant paperwork, and then the chairman of the council will present her with her vice chair's chain.
Chairman, the newly elected Vice Chairman will formally read out her declaration of acceptance of office. Councillor Churchman, please.
Declaration of acceptance of office. I, Vanessa Churchman, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of the Isle of Wight Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Thank you.
And now, so on to declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations? Councillor Fuller.
Just on the appointment of outside bodies, just to declare an interest in that I am chairman of the Local Access Forum. This is a position that I am chairman in an independent capacity, and I'm not appointed by the Isle of Wight Council, so I will not be voting on that nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nope. Thank you. So, official announcements. Well, there aren't any official announcements from me at this particular point that I'm aware of. So, we'll move on to the next.
So, through you, Chairman, the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of full council held on Wednesday, the 1st of May, have only recently been finalised due to tight timescales, and there's a need for the minutes to be agreed as to whether or not they're an accurate, correct record of the proceedings. If I hand you the minutes, Chairman.
Thank you. Is it minutes? Everybody happy with them? Sorry, what? Yes, so I propose the minutes and I look for a seconder. Councillor Christensen. All in favour? Sorry.
What minutes are we talking about? There's nothing on the agenda about minutes.
Minutes of the agenda, the extraordinary meeting.
Through
On
you,
the
Chair, and
agenda.
Councillor Brodie, thank you for raising that point. Excellent point raised.
As usual.
Yeah. Due to the urgency of the matter, the fact that there are special circumstances in terms of the tight timescales and the requirement for the matter to be signed by law at the next meeting, which is this meeting, then it's a decision, as Councillor Brodie has correctly pointed out, for the chairman to be satisfied that there are special circumstances outlined, and that obviously the matter is for you, Chair, if you're happy for the need for this to be dealt with, and obviously subject to the approval of members in terms of if you do view it as an urgent item. Thank you.
So the reason that these have been brought forward is at this particular point is because there was a slight delay in getting them out in the first place. And so apologies for that. But I do want to get these minutes dealt with if that is the feeling of the council. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah, sorry, just how can
Just
we
once-
agree? How can we agree to minutes we haven't seen?
The minutes being sent out? Yeah, so again, because of the situation, they went out this afternoon. So would you want to proceed to agree the minutes now, or do you want to delay them till the next meeting? I'm quite happy to delay them to the next meeting.
Officer. I'm deeply concerned about this, to be frank, because the meeting on the 1st made two very important decisions for this council, and not to have anticipated the minutes of that meeting being needed to be on this agenda is quite an omission, to be frank, because it suggests to me, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I'd rather keep quiet, that neither of those decisions are in place now until the minutes are agreed. But in all honesty, it's a joke if we're going to be asked to approve minutes that most people probably haven't even read. You know, I haven't read them. I saw they came in this afternoon, but I was out doing something else. You know, I haven't had a chance to read them. There may be some contention in there. And I'm sorry, Chair, I know you're keen to do the right thing, but I think the monitoring officer perhaps explain why it wasn't at least an agenda item. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Would you like to?
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Councillor Brodie. Thank you, Chairman. Yes, members will recall that the extraordinary council meeting was held on Wednesday, the 1st of May. The following day was the PCC elections, and staff were involved in that election together with the count on the following day. On the Monday, it was a bank holiday, and on Tuesday, the agenda reports had to be finalised and published. So the minutes were not ready for publication and didn't appear on the agenda until such time as they were available, have been available to be finalised. And the only sort of way of bringing it forward was to this particular meeting at a late stage, for which clearly one apologises for. But there is a limited resource available to produce a turnaround in such circumstances. To answer Councillor Brodie's correct situation, yes, this would warrant, in my view, it to be dealt with as a matter of urgency, if that's what you, in order to comply with the need to have them agreed today. But Councillor Brodie's specific point about the status of the decisions made on the 1st of May, those decisions were made by full council on the 1st of May and stand. It is the accuracy of the minutes which require approval as a correct record, but the decisions made on the 1st of May have been made. Thank you.
So just taking advice. So we could potentially delay it, but there is a legal requirement that it be done for this meeting, I'm advised. And if we don't do that, that throws the rest of the meeting into jeopardy in terms of moving forward. So we have to do this at this meeting. Now, if that means taking just a little bit of time now so that you can read the minutes, I'm quite happy to do that, but we do need to deal with it. Councillor John, you've got your hand up.
Can I ask what time the email with the minutes was sent out?
I'm told it's 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon it was sent out.
I'm looking at my emails from yesterday, and
So what I'm going to propose is.
But I've not read them, and they're not on the agenda.
So
And
what
other
I'm going
people
to.
haven't either.
Okay, Councillor Jam, what I'm going to propose is that we take a few minutes now to look at the minutes so that everybody has chance to look at them, because they do need to be approved this evening. So that is what I'm going to propose at this point. So I'm going to adjourn now for 5 minutes for people to have a look. And I hope that people will be able to come to some kind of decision, remembering that we are only looking at accuracy of the minutes, okay? We're not looking to amend them. We're looking to amend any accuracy. So if that's what we need to do, then that's what we need to do. So that will take a little bit longer, as long as everybody's happy with that. Are we all okay with that? Because we do need to. Can we just please one at a time? Councillor Mosdale.
Use your microphone.
Yeah, I can't hear over here.
Thank you.
So can I just suggest, if we are going to print the minutes, we only print the minutes for the people who need to be printed, so we don't kill the whole environment. We just have a show of hands. We need a printed set of minutes.
Okay.
So we're not doing 39 copies of.
That sounds like a reasonable suggestion. If you would like a copy of printed minutes, can you please raise your hand? In a second, can we just do one thing at a time? Raise your hand so we can see how many people need comments, please. We need 8 copies. We are going to suspend for 10 minutes to be able to do this.
So as a point of order, I found the email. The email that was sent out at 2 o'clock doesn't actually contain the minutes. It contains a link to the minutes. So I'm just to correct that small point. I know it's a nitpicking, but it does mean that they have not been served. The link has been served, and I think you've got a lot of people here who have not read them.
So we're going to take the time. If people can identify, we're going to suspend. I'm going to suspend so that people can. Sorry, I'm going to take 10 minutes. So has everybody had chance now to look at the minutes? Are you all happy, Councillor Jarman? Are you happy to proceed? Okay, thank you. So we're going on to look at the accuracy of the minutes. Okay, would anybody like to make any comments? So I've proposed them and I look for a seconder to that. Councillor Brodie. Thank you. A show of hands to agree them. That looks like unanimous. Anybody against them? Any abstentions? One abstention. That's it. Thank you. And moving on to the leaders' report now. I invite you to do the report, Councillor Jordan.
Thank you, Chair. It's somewhat unusual, I guess. I won't speak too long as I normally do. It allows you to ask lots of questions. The annual report actually comprises, as you can see, of all of the Cabinet's report. So I'm happy to take questions on those. If I can't answer them from the Cabinet member involved, then I'll ask them, or I'm happy to give a written reply. For my own portfolio, it's mostly good news about grant funding that we've achieved and been given, either applied for or given, as in the case of the Ride Town Fund. In the question of the 13.5 million to deliver the West White Cycleway Greenway, we did apply for that. We applied for it under Levelling Up 2 the year before. We're unsuccessful, and government DLUC came back to us and suggested that we could have our grant awarded under level 3 of the grant funding, Levelling Up grant funding, level 3. So we were successful in that. We've been awarded a couple of other smaller amounts. They're not small, they're millions of pounds, but 2 million for the initiatives for safety works between Sandown and Blackwater, which comprise of a number of individual safety projects along the road. There is a plan and a scheme drawn up for that. And yeah, that's the good news on our grant funding. So that's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions on it. And the rest of the report is the Cabinet members' report.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Jordan, thank you very much for that. Can I just ask you a question specifically on funding for the military road? You spoke at my committee on the 2nd of May and you gave me a reasonably short answer at that stage. I would be grateful if you could arrange for a formal response to those specific references to possible monies being diverted from council grants and funds towards the military road, and how the council would view those.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Happy to do that. We'll do that. You'll recall that at the February budget meeting, there was a proposal to take £250,000 from other capital schemes, notably Osborne Steps in Shanklin, where we had worked hard over a long period of time to put that money together to assist the residents of Shanklin and intervene and repair the steps at Osborne. We worked hard at that, and an amendment to that budget that provided for that repair to those steps was brought forward and voted, interestingly, by some of the Shanklin members, to take away that money from Shanklin and put it into the military road, Councillor Stewart. So you've benefited in your own ward from that, and currently currently we have around £500,000 to £750,000. That's going towards developing a business case to put forward to the DFT. We continue to do that. We've had high-level drawings of a reroute of the military road and some idea of costing. So we will come and give you some definite responses, definite information about that, Councillor Stewart. But we're working hard, really hard, to try and save the road by rerouting it. Temporary fixes won't work there for very long. We need to prepare that road for future generations, 50 years plus. So that's what we're working hard on. We're trying to prove to the DFT and government that this is an important road for our island, and we have to find a solution which involves spending money we don't have. The Minister for Levelling Up is coming to this island tomorrow. I'm meeting with him in Ryde, and if I get an opportunity, Councillor Stewart, I will certainly bring that to his attention. So we'll come back to you with far more information. Thank you for the question, Nick. We like all the other problematic highways around this island that we suffered from over the winter and the storms and the heavy rains, we're working hard to try and restore the road network as best we can.
Thank you. Any further? Councillor Quirk was next on.
Councillor Jordan, is it not true that the money that you apparently applied for the Osborne steps was actually the money that came automatically to the council from the bonus that came out to all councils from the closure or the stopping of the HS2 project? And all councils got money. He's allocated that to Shanklin. In the budget amendment, nothing showed to say that that was taking it from the Osborne Steps budget. That's your interpretation of what was there. Can you say, was that actually the money that came from the HS2 bonus?
No, the money set aside came from the Highways capital budget. I recall, Councillor Quirk, minutes before the meeting in February, when we were coming in here to vote on the budget, explaining it to you outside this room, that the money, the amendment that you had put in and were likely to vote for to take the money from the 500,000 and put it in the military road was coming from military steps. You knew before you were asked to vote on it, Councillor Quirk. No, the answer is it came from the Highways capital budget and you removed it by your vote.
Totally.
Councillor, sorry, there are no supplementary questions in this particular section. Councillor Lilly.
My question, Councillor Jordan, is as you know, we got a motion about the sewage side, and in the annual report there is a mention obviously about the flooding, and particularly the flooding before Christmas and and since then across the island. The government put forward a water restoration fund for up to 11 million, particularly targeting the areas that were hit by water companies and the sewage. And the opening date of that fund was on the 9th of April, and the closing date is on the 7th of June. Can you reassure me that an application is coming from the Isle of Wight to that fund?
Councillor Lee, I will go and find out. I will be very disappointed if we are not applying for grants of that nature, but I will find out definitely for you, and I will give you my guarantee that I will press hard. I don't know if you know, Paul, do you? Press hard that we get an application. Do you know about that, Paul?
As far as I'm aware, that an application has been made. However, I cannot confirm or not confirm that at this time. So I think it would be better to put that in writing. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Michael, we will find out definitely and let this council know for sure that we've put in an application. If we haven't, I'll ensure that we do put an application in.
Have a supplementary to that, please, to reply.
We don't take supplementaries, I'm afraid. Councillor Jarman.
Thank you, Chair. I've got a question about dates. It's in two parts. The first one is, can we get an understanding of when we will receive the written answers promised from the meeting on the 1st of May that have not yet been provided? And the second one relating to dates is, can we confirm that the independent consultants analysis agreed in the budget amendment is on schedule and will be delivered, including onboarding of accommodation for children in need on the island and relocatable housing, etc. Thank you.
There are two questions there. So it's the latter question, Councillor Jarman. Councillor.
Councillor Bacon, would you like to bring us up to speed on that project?
Well, I can deal with half of that in relation.
We'll give you a written reply, Councillor Jarman.
So a written reply coming forward to that.
Thank you, Chairman. Mine's not much surprise, Councillor Jordan, actually. I'd like to say thank you for highlighting in your report the important £2 million that's been spent on the Sandown to Blackwater road. It's a road where speed limits vary every 5 minutes, especially outside my local schools, quite dangerous. And also the consultations that were done with town and parish councils to put that's the right scheme in place. So thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated by all the residents of my ward. And also for you kindly agreeing to meet with me to discuss the most dangerous road junction on the island. I look forward to that meeting happening not too distant future. So thank you for agreeing to meet me there. Thank you.
Councillor Bragan, for your I appreciate that and your understanding. I've been unwell in a way, but I am back from Monday and we'll meet to discuss that. And thank you for your patience and understanding. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Can I see any more questions? Please ask a question.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations, by the way. Can I just take it, as we had the problem with the questions, can I ask when the answers will be coming for the questions that were asked on the 1st of May? Because we were expecting answers to questions on the 1st of May, and we still haven't received. Okay, up to the lead, I do beg your pardon.
We'll follow that up, Councillor Medland. They should be arriving, or you should have them. The Chief Exec's committed to have a look at that tomorrow or after this. Well, tomorrow by the time the meeting's finished, and we'll come back to you on that. We'll get the answers. They're committed to the answers. We'll make sure you get them.
Any further questions? Then we will move on of the monitoring officer. Just remember where we are. Oh, yes. To approve the dates of the council meetings moving forward. Sorry, I skipped over one. Has anybody got any questions about those dates? Everybody okay? Would somebody like to propose? Formally moved. Seconder? Who's seconding? Councillor Medland. Approval? Thank you. That's everybody. And now we go to the report of the monitoring officer.
Thank you, Chairman. Members will be well and truly familiar by now. There's a legal requirement to review the fiscal proportionality at each annual meeting. Changes occurred as a result of a change in membership in terms of Councillor Adams leaving the Empowering Islanders group, so a recalculation was necessary. Members have been asked through their group leaders and the unaligned to confirm their wishes in relation to seats on committees. Various revisions have taken place, and the intention is to take this matter slowly to make sure we've got an accurate picture of the particular wishes of all concerned. What I propose is that sort of direct council's attention to the seats set out in the revised appendix 2. And understand that there is a further revision in relation to the items listed there, in that it is my understanding that Councillor Rodney Downer will not be serving on the Policy and Resource Committee, Neighbourhoods and Regeneration, and his place will instead be taken by Councillor Carl Love. Now, I'm in members' hands as ever, so if there are any changes to the document, revised document in front of you, please let me know. But I'd like to obviously thank the various group leaders, including the unaligned councillors, for providing the information when they provided the information. So in terms of the committee seats themselves, I think the position is clear, but I'm ready to stand corrected as ever. In terms of the positions for chair and vice chair of each of the committees, I've been provided with a list of nominations. So the appendix should be read in conjunction with whatever members decide tonight. The nominations I have so far in terms of chair of the appeals committee, I have a nomination of chairman of Councillor Ian Daw and a nomination of chair of the appeals committee of Councillor Susie Ellis. Are there any other nominations for chair of that particular committee? And before Councillor Brodie quite rightly corrects me on occasions, I'm presuming that all the nominations put forward, people are willing to serve and are happy to do so. Thank you. Councillor Brodie is obviously training me well. Thank you. Right, so thank you. So we have a disputed democratic vote to take place in terms of whether members are in favour of Councillor Daw as chair of the Appeals Committee, or alternatively in favour of Councillor Susie Ellis as chair of the Appeals Committee. Do you wish me to read out as a recorded vote, or Councillor?
Chair, for speed, because I'm already beginning to lose the will to live at this annual meeting, can I suggest, unless people ask for a named vote, that all you do is you read out a name, ask for an indication if you're in favour of that, read out the next name, ask for an indication if you're in favour of that.
Yes.
And ask if anybody doesn't wish to vote for either.
Yes, I'm happy with that.
And has anybody lost the will to live?
Thank you, Councillor Brodie. Thank you, Chairman. So you've heard that there's a contest for chair of the Appeals Committee, Councillor Ian Daw and Councillor Susie Ellis. So if you could indicate first whether you're in favour of Councillor Ian Daw. And obviously sort of for completeness, Councillor Susie Ellis.
Thank you. And I'll leave this to you two. Sorry.
Okay.
Can we just confirm
Yes,
So Councillor Dorr is elected into that position with 20. Thank you very much. And on to the next one.
yes, again, I'm in members' hands and I obviously want to speed it up as much as is appropriate. I suggest we stay with the Appeals Committee and deal with the Vice Chair of that particular committee, with nominations of Councillor Ellis as Vice Chair and Councillor Peter Spink. I'm not sure if there's any other nominations put forward.
So through the chair, please, through the chair.
Sorry, we nominated for chair Councillor Ellis, but the nomination on the list was Councillor Spink. for
We
vice chair.
nominated her.
Okay,
We
one
nominated
at a time, one at a time. Councillor Brody. Yes. Okay. Okay. Okay, just take.
Again, I'm in members' hands, etc. If members are content with that, I think Councillor Jarman wishes to speak.
Chair, we might want to confirm with the people if Councillor Ellis has been nominated without her knowledge, whether she's prepared to accept that nomination before we vote on it.
Yes, I would be. Thank you.
Certainly tradition has been recently to vote. Are you happy with that?
So I'm quite happy to follow the advice. So Councillor Churchman, would you like to just say a few words?
In my experience, we've never voted for vice chairs at full council, apart from scrutiny and planning committee. The committees themselves have always voted in their own vice chairs. Thank you, Chair.
So to cut that short, I'm happy with to follow that particular regime, because that will save a lot of time here. I'm very happy with that. So let's deal with that now then. So let's deal with those two vice chairs to start with. Oh, yes. Yeah. So do we all agree with that then? So if you could show us, so no, okay, so I'm asking for a vote. Those who want to do that, please show. I want to see people's hands. If you want to move on in that particular way, please show your hands.
Chair, sorry, I'm not 100% clear on what we're voting on.
We are talking about voting for the chairs now, and then the vice chairs for two groups only. That's what we're talking about. So if you want to proceed in that way, please show your hands now. That's the majority. Okay. So we now need to pick up with the chairs of those groups. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, councillors. The next chair is by virtue of the Office for Appointments and Employment Committee. So that's Councillor Phil Jordan by virtue of his office. The next item for chair is Audit and Governance, and the nominations for the chair of Audit and Governance. I have nominations of Councillor Andrew Garrett and also nomination from Councillor Chris Quirk. So again, we proceed on the basis that both are willing to serve if elected as chair.
Are you calling a point of order?
I don't understand why the reason we put vices on it, because it's on the agenda. And I'm sure we've done it before.
It may well be on the agenda, but we've just voted to move on from that position, and that was the vote, so therefore that's what we now have to do. So, yes. It is a very confusing time, but we have just made a decision, and that decision I'm going to move forward with.
We have voted on vice chairs before, because we did it with the pensions committee and Vanessa was voted as vice chair at one point. And are we changing the constitution at this point now for this meeting?
No. We just made a decision about moving forward. That's what I intend to do. The vice chairs can be picked up as per what we've just agreed. So please carry on, Mr. Potter.
Thank you, Chair. So we have two nominations for Audit and Governance as Chair, Councillor Andrew Garrett and Councillor Chris Quirk. So if you could please indicate if you're in favour of Councillor Andrew Garrett as Chair. And if you could indicate, please, if you're in favour of Councillor Chris Quirk.
So congratulations, Councillor Garrett. And on to the next one.
Thank you, Chair. As members will be familiar, corporate scrutiny, we just have one nomination, which is Councillor Claire Mosdell, who obviously would be willing to serve. So in that case, if members just indicate as ever they're happy with that situation, which is the norm.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. That's carried, Chair. So the next. No. And then if we deal with the chairmanship, I just mentioned the Harbour Committee by position, it's sort of Councillor Phil Jordan. So move on to the next one where it is contested. The Investigatory and Disciplinary Committee have nominations for chair as Councillor Laura PC Wilcox and Councillor Martin Oliver. If you could please indicate, first of all, if you're in favour of Councillor Laura PC Wilcox. And if you could please indicate if you're in favour of Councillor Martin Oliver. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So we confirm that Councillor Laura Wilcox is the representative and the chair of that committee. Moving onwards.
Thank you, Chair. We just have one nomination for Chair of Licensing. That's Councillor Michael Beston, presumably willing to serve. Thank you.
Can we just have a show of hands just to confirm that, please? Yeah. Thank you.
And moving swiftly on to the Pension Fund Committee Chairman, we have one nomination, which is Councillor Chris Jarman.
Those show your hands in support, Councillor Jarman. Thank you.
The Planning Committee, we have one nomination, which is Councillor Warren Drew, who is presumably happy to. Thank you.
Can we reach for the sky, everybody, please? Thank you. Thank you.
Did we not agree at the very beginning, we had that vote that we would vote for the vice chair of planning, only two committees we would vote as a vice chair, and we'd vote for the vice chair of planning this evening. And we should have voted for the vice chair of corporate scrutiny.
Yes, we haven't got to the vice chairs
So
yet.
we're going to do the vice chairs at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, thank you, Chair. Right, so the next chairmanship, I have one nomination, which is for the Policy and Scrutiny Children's Services and Education Skills Committee, which is Councillor Paul Brady, who I presume is happy to serve.
All those in favour? Thank you. Congratulations. Moving on.
Thank you, Chairman. The next chairmanship is the Policy and Scrutiny Committee for Health and Social Care. I believe there are two nominations, Councillor Sarah Redrup and Councillor John Nicholson for chair. So if we could please ask those in favour, first of all, for Councillor Sarah Redrup as Chair of Policy and Scrutiny, Health and Social Care.
Just one hand, please. Thank you and congratulations.
For completeness, obviously, the vote for Councillor John Nicholson.
Yes, my apologies. Thank you for that and thank you for standing. That's important that people do stand.
And Chairman, the final chairmanship, as far as I'm aware, is the Policy and Scrutiny Committee, Neighbourhoods and Regeneration. We have two candidates, Councillor Nick Stewart and Councillor Ian Ward. So if we deal with the first candidate, Councillor Nick Stewart, please.
Thank you.
And for Councillor Ian Ward, please.
Thank you. And thank you again both for standing. It's very much appreciated. Somebody has to lead these committees. And so we now have two vice.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Vote for.
If I've understood things correctly, it's the Corporate Scrutiny Committee for Vice Chair, which we in actual fact only have one nomination as far as I'm aware, and that's Councillor Peter Spink. And could you please indicate if you're willing to serve?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you show your hands for Councillor Spink, please? Vice Scrutiny.
Vice Chair of Corporate Scrutiny.
There's only one person standing. Okay. Yeah. I do need to give the opportunity for people to vote against if they want to vote against. So you're voting against. Anybody else against? Two against. Abstentions? Thank you.
Chairman, we now.
So recording for that. You're just going to do recording for that? Oh. Okay. So now we've got the planning, Chair, Vice Chair of Planning.
Thank you, Chairman. We only have one nomination as far as I'm aware. That's Councillor Matthew Price, who I presume is willing to serve. Thank you.
Could you please show for Councillor Price? That's carried overwhelmingly. Congratulations.
So, Chairman, we've dealt with the chairs of the various committees and a couple of the vice chairs at the. Sorry, I think Councillor Garrett's Chairman.
To order.
Point of information, just for clarification, following those votes, that the Liberal Democrat nominations on committees are not as now printed on the paper.
for corporate scrutiny, the main member will be Councillor Lilly, with Councillor Sarah Redrup moving to deputy, and with Councillor Sarah Redrup's election to the chair of that Policy and Scrutiny Committee, Councillor Lilly now moves to the deputy list on that committee. I just wanted to make sure that was clarified at this stage.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Garrett. We make note of the wishes of the Liberal Democrat group, as you've kindly just expressed, and the appendix in terms of the appointments to committees and of committees is as has been revised and as has been mentioned this evening, with the inclusion, obviously, of the chairs, which we voted for, and the 2 positions of vice chair, which we voted for, which was the Corporate Scrutiny Committee and the Planning Committee. For completeness, obviously, I would ask if you would agree the political proportionality and the appointments which have been set out as revised and as mentioned this evening. If you could just please indicate if you're satisfied. Hopefully I haven't omitted anything, but I think that's an accurate reflection of what the wishes are of members this evening.
So this is the last chance to change that. Is everybody happy? Councillor
Sorry,
Rosedale?
to full council appointments, hoping I'm getting the right bit in here, to the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Local Government Association, Councillor Ian Ward would like to be nominated for a position on that board. That's just adding to what we only added 2 things on our outside appointments. So full council appointments, Councillor Ian Ward would like to be put forward to Hampshire and Isle of Wight Local Government Association.
Yeah, we're not actually on the outsides at the moment. Yeah, okay. Thank you. No, that's okay. So we need to clarify the vote.
Yes.
Okay, so we need to clarify that. Is everybody happy? Can we show hands that everybody's happy with the proportionality?
Yep.
Somebody said no, they're not happy about the proportionalities. If you've said no, can you tell me what that's about?
Yeah.
Oh, you said no, so I didn't.
Yep.
Okay, so can we vote in, can we then show hands for people who are happy with the proportionality? It's carried.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillor Mosdell, for the information. We do move on to the appointments to outside bodies, and the report is before you. Now, I have some details of, so please bear with me. I think the only changes I'm aware of is in relation to, apart from the revisions, is Appendix 2, which is the executive appointments and the external organisations. If I deal with the executive appointments matter, where it says this is for the executive, but obviously giving notification quite rightly to members this evening, the Safeguarding Adults Board should read Councillor Debbie Andre, not as listed as Councillor Bacon. The Solent Growth Forum and Solent Enterprise Partnership, I understand, are no longer in existence in that format. And the Southern Regional Flood and Coastal Committee, I understand that Councillor Paul Fuller has been put forward to serve on that position by virtue of his cabinet's role. Moving to the external organisation.
We just need, do we need to vote on that first to clarify that bit? Because I want to try and deal with it.
Thank you, Chair. Just to note, obviously, because these are the executive appointments, but if you formally note that you've had that information given, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
So if we could formally note that we've had that information given. Okay, noted, sorry, yes. Can we show please for that? Is everybody happy with that? Okay, there seems to be some hesitation. I need to see people's hands, please. Could we note that, please? Okay. So it's noted, okay?
Thank you, Chairman. Obviously, we've got two more appendices. We're going slightly out of order. If we deal with the external nominations or external organisations, I have a piece of paper in front of me with the Armed Forces Day Parade Organising Committee. I've got one name, that's Councillor Ian Daw. I've got, do you want to do this on block?
Yes, please.
Thank you. The Community Action Isle of Wight Board of Trustees, I've got Councillor Andre and Councillor Lilly. The next one, I've got the Isle of Wight's AONB Partnership Steering Committee. I've got Councillor Laura P.C. Wilcox and Councillor Fuller. The Isle of Wight Local Access Forum, Councillor Rodney Downer and Councillor Medland. For the Standing Conference on Problems Associated with the Coastline, I've got Councillor Fuller and Councillor P.C. Wilcox. For the Solent Forum, I've got Councillor Fuller. For Southern Inshore Fisheries and Conservation Authority, I've Councillor Fuller. And for the Yarmouth Isle of Wight Harbour Commissioners Elected Councillors Advisory Committee, I have Councillor Peter Spink. I think that reflects what I'm aware of. So if you could just...
Is everybody happy with that? Can I just check? Everybody's happy with that? Please show your hands in support of that. Okay, thank you. Anybody against that? One against, noted. Abstentions? No abstentions that I can see. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. And if we go back, obviously, to the first item, which is the full council appointments, which members, I think, have got a revised list in front of you. But I'm in members' hands to make sure we've got details. Yeah.
What's happened to the Ryde Town Board?
Yes, thank you.
Which was controversial at the extraordinary meeting. And I think the advice council was given was proved to be inaccurate. I just wonder where we are.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Brodie again. I was going to address that after this sort of full council appointment situation.
Shouldn't you have mentioned it rather? It's getting a bit chaotic as usual. You know, it should be dealt with under this item.
Yes, and that's what...
Tell us, you know, otherwise people get lost. So I'm getting fed up with this. I'm not voting for things because I don't think we've been given a good direction.
So thank you for your comments there. What we will do is we will deal with that as a separate item in a moment. But your comments are noted there, Councillor. So let's complete this bit and we will come back to that. Okay.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillor Brodie. So Access Pool Joint Committee, do we have nominations? Yep. Sorry, so you've got that list. Sorry,
Chair, they were submitted.
Thank you. So
just a moment, just give me a second.
Yes, I've just got the piece of paper in front of me. Thank you, Councillor Churchman. So Councillor Vanessa Churchman is the nomination for the Access Pool Joint Committee. And I'll move swiftly on unless there's any other nominations. We'll take this through. The adoption panel, is there anything at the moment? Do we have any nominations?
So Councillor Andre is nominated for that
Thank
position.
you. I'm grateful. Thank you. Armed Forces Champion member.
Councillor Ian Daw.
Councillor Ian Daw, thank you. The Corporate Parenting Board, we've obviously got Councillor Vanessa Churchman, who's willing to serve.
Excuse me. May I just address briefly on that matter. Thank you. Sorry to interject. The Corporate Parenting Board is currently undergoing a complete rewrite of its terms of reference and therefore membership. That process started on Monday. There was a call out, members would have seen an email asking for members to come forward, which was answered by Councillor Churchman and Councillor Andre, but none others. To accord with best practice, the Corporate Parenting Board is now looking for essentially permanent appointees to hold particular roles within that board, and to ensure the authority's function in that regard is undertaken. So I did have a word with the monitoring officer, and it was suggested that this matter will have to come back hopefully in July, when we have those terms of reference in place and the precise format of membership is known. So I would like to say I'm very grateful to those two who've put themselves up so far, and hoping that they will be part of the forming of the terms of reference. It is open to any member. We are all, of course, corporate parents, but any member in this chamber is also welcome to come and be part of the work to create the terms of reference and the new corporate parenting board. But sorry to go on a little bit. I think that needed to be clarified.
So the proposal is to bring that back to the next meeting. That's the proposal.
But I would just ask that if anyone wants to volunteer in the meantime to help with the process of creating the new committee, the new board, they are please very welcome to do so. And I would ask them to contact the relevant strategic director.
Thank you. So that's going to be brought back. Councillor Mosdale.
Just a point so I understand it. So are we saying that the corporate parenting board has currently no longer, and we won't have a corporate parenting board until July? Wouldn't it be better that we carry on with the process that we are doing in the board that we already have, voting in those positions, and in July, when we have a new terms of reference, then we have a new corporate parenting board? It makes me feel rather uneasy saying that, well, actually, we're not going to vote on those positions because it's not going to exist. We're rebuilding it and it won't happen until July, because I know how this council works. We're talking July 2026 at the rate it works. But do you see what my query is? If it's not coming till July, what is happening with the current corporate parenting board?
July.
There was a lengthy email sent out last week which did set out all that information and invited members who were wishing to participate to turn up on Monday. As I say, there were 2 responses to that. So I'd refer you to that email because I think it is quite clear. The Corporate Parenting Board does exist, but it is undergoing a rebirth, if you like. So, as I said, for that to happen and for the membership to continue, I'm looking for volunteers at the moment to come forward, and we've had 2, but there will be this matter coming back forward again when we have full terms of reference in due course.
Okay, so are you
it's not ending?
Can I just get some clarity here, because I don't want this to go on forever? So are you proposing that the current membership of the board remains the same until July as is?
Sorry, I'm going to take a bit more time. There are no, other than the chair, there are no standing members of the Corporate Parenting Board. The form that's existed before has always been all members are welcome to turn up to any meeting. That is being changed because that is not in accordance with best practice. And that means a full rewrite of the terms of reference. But for the meantime, we're looking for members to attend on the previous basis, but conscious that we are looking for full-time members going forward.
I think we get that point. I don't want to sustain any length, but thank you for that. So the proposal is that we bring it back in July. So is everybody happy with that and everybody clear that?
And Chairman, in the meantime, the short answer to Councillor Mosdale's question is yes.
So
yes, we just need to confirm the nomination, which I've got, as far as I'm aware, is Councillor Vanessa Churchman. As Councillor Bacon said, this matter is being reviewed currently and will be brought back at a future time, but we need to deal with matters currently, pending that subsequent change. Thank you.
So I think we've now confirmed all of those arrangements and we're going to vote on those in block.
Yes, the next one is the fostering panel. Any nominations at the moment we're aware of? Nope. Thank you.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Bacon for the fostering panel membership.
Nomination has been received for fostering panel.
And
We need a seconder for that, do we?
we'll take it in block at the end if that's makes it quicker and more convenient for members. The next item is the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Local Government Association. I have Councillor Ian Ward as a nominee. You willing to serve? Thank you. The Hampshire Police and Crime Panel, confirmation of any members, which Councillor Lucioni? And any other nominations? Nope.
Have we not received nominations for this in advance?
No, Chair.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year at the annual meeting, I raised the whole issue of the LGA, both nationally and regionally or sub-regionally, you know, as to what merit there was in it. It's, you know, there's a lot of money paid out. We never get any reports back. I was promised last year regular reports back. I've never seen a single thing. I just wonder, we're wasting public money on something that I have no idea as a member of this council, after a lot of years, what it does.
Okay, Councillor Brodie, can I suggest that then be an item on the agenda of a full council meeting for a discussion rather than at this moment in time? But again, thank you for your comments. That's important. So we will add that to the agenda.
Thanks.
We've got people asking questions all over the place.
Chairman, the police and crime panel.
Yep.
Quite clearly, Councillor Lucioni's done a great job there. I had been her deputy. Could I carry on doing that? Yes, okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm grateful, Councillor Ward, for that clarity.
So please continue, Monitoring Officer.
Thank you, Chairman. We're now moving on to the Health and Wellbeing Board. The names in front of me are Councillor Debbie Andre, Councillor Jonathan Bacon, Councillor Phil Jordan, Councillor Karen Lucioni, and Councillor Ian Stevens, by virtue of their cabinet positions.
Councillor Brodie.
And again, last year, probably the year before as well, and the year before. What is the point of the Isle of Wight Health and Wellbeing Board? What does
Chair, that's not the position.
What does it do?
So it is a statutory body, so we do have to appoint to that. It's a debate that we can have outside of this, but tonight is about the election of the officers to that. So I don't want to get into huge debates about, but I do hear the point that you've made. But if that, again, you want to bring up, we put that on the agenda for a future meeting. Okay. So I'm trying not to get into long debates because this is about nominations. Councillor.
Chair, if it's helpful, I can circulate some information about how the Health and Wellbeing Board fits into the governance system of the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Andre. So please continue, Monitoring Officer.
Thank you, Chairman. The overleaf, we've got the Isle of Wight Athletic Club. Don't have any current nominations. It's normally the chair, I understand.
It goes to the chairman's position. It comes with that.
Done all this. Okay.
The Isle of Wight Lifeboat Board. And again, it's usually chairman by position. The Isle of Wight Pension Board, I think we have Councillor Paul Fuller. Yep, thank you. The Joint Consultative Meeting, I have Councillors Jordan, Bacon, Quirk, Ward, and one councillor from the Lib Dem group is.
That will be Councillor Lilly.
Councillor Lilly, thank you. And it's been raised, obviously, we have one councillor which we need to appoint to either from the Empowering Islanders group or from the underlined councillors.
Councillor Medlin.
Chair, I'd like to nominate Councillor Jarman for joint consultative meeting.
Thank you. For the same. Thank you. So we'll need to have a vote on that shortly. Can we just go through the rest of the nominations before we get to? We need to do this quickly because it is tedious.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. That's the only contested one so far. Mental health champion, I understand, is Councillor.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. The Standing Advisory Council for Religious Education, I think that the list of the various groups A, B and C are set out on the paperwork. Are there any sort of members put forward?
Happy to stay on that board.
And I'm happy to stay, and I am currently the chair, Sacre.
Thank you, Chair. So the only disputed ones, I understand, in fact, there's a joint consultative meeting. The choice is between Councillor Jarman or Councillor Quigley. So
can we deal with that now then? Oh, sorry, Councillor Ellis.
I'm sorry to ask a daft question and be confused, and I'm probably completely wrong. And I'm also sorry to Richard, but I thought Councillor Quigley was part of Labour and not an unaligned councillor.
he's unaligned.
He's unaligned. Okay. You're on your own. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just wanted. Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to the vote on that one. Can we just recap that, please?
Yes, we have a contest between Councillor Jarman and Councillor Quigley. So if you could please indicate if you're in favour of Councillor Jarman serving on the joint consultative meeting. Thank you, Chair. And please indicate in favour or otherwise for Councillor Quigley.
Thank you. Can I just ask people just to, put your hands up at the beginning? We get hands going up in between and then that confuses the count. So thank you very much. The Councillor Quigley is elected to that.
And Chairman, just for clarity, for those uncontested positions which you've heard this evening, could members just please confirm they're happy with those uncontested elements on this particular item?
Thank you. So that's everybody voting for the whole package. Yep. Those four. We'll have some against. Is everybody for? Yep. Thank you. Anybody against? No. And abstentions? Thank you. 2 abstentions.
Thank you, Chairman. If we now can come to the matter which was again properly raised, and I'm grateful to Councillor Brodie, is the Ryde Town Board. The government guidance makes it clear that there is a mandatory requirement for 2 representatives from the Isle of Wight Council to serve on the Ryde Town Board. Nominations, I understand at the moment, specific nominations have been received from Councillor Lucioni, Councillor Jordan and Councillor Warren Drew. Now, I'm in members' hands. There's 2 places. The members might want to consider having an approved list by way of substitution as well, in case the 2 people you elected today, no substitutes. Okay, right. Well, that case, then, sorry, Councillor Mosdell, sorry.
Sorry, can I suggest if there's 3 representatives, that we all just say a name because every councillor gets 1 vote, and the 2 highest vote people then go through. Are we happy with that? So we all have 1 vote,
Yeah. No.
but the 2 top names go through.
So okay. So this is obviously a very contentious matter. 2 candidates have already been elected. My understanding is that 2 can. So listen, hear me out, please. 2 candidates have already been selected by the board for this position. Now, my understanding is that they make that decision. So all we would be doing here today was to note or ratify those 2 positions. Now, things might have got skewed in terms of how this has been presented. But the fact is that that board, which is an independent board, according to my understanding, has already made those positions. And if they've made those positions and ratified them with government office, which I understand that they have, then it would be wise for this council at this point to just simply note and ratify that. Whether if the process has been followed or not is another debate, okay? But I think it's really important that we just understand that now, because otherwise we're going to get ourselves into a mess in terms of where we go from here. So I'm not intending to take lots of questions in this, to be honest, but I will take a few. And if we can keep it to the point, please.
Point of order, I guess, Councillor Love. That's not the advice you've received from the monitoring officer. You're acting against advice. The advice you've received is that this council should appoint its members to Ryde Town Board. It has an absolute unviolable right to do that. No one can take this council's power away, including the chair of Ryde Town Board. I've had a very amicable meeting with the chair of Ryde Town Board. I've seen the email, we've all seen the email that he sent to Mr. Fernandez. At no time has he said it is his authority. He did say in an email it was his understanding of government guidance. But you're the chair of this council. You are in a hugely important, neutral, independent role, and you've received advice from the most senior legal officer. And you pledged to this council that you would take on board that advice. And it does look like, and I hope this isn't correct, it does look like you're trying to further the interests of the Alliance Group and Councillor Jordan against the monitoring officer.
So stop, everybody stop. Let me respond to that. Yeah, let me respond to that. Is that nobody has influenced me about this. I've listened to the discussions from both sides. Okay, we do have the monitoring officer's advice here, which you're quite correct to bring out. It is for this council to decide how you want to proceed. Okay, so I hear what you're saying, but please withdraw that because nobody has influenced me around that.
Councillor Love, I'm happy to clarify. I said appearance. And I think this is the problem for the chair of the Ryde Town Board, who I'm sure is an extremely honourable fellow. If it's left to him to choose 2 elected members, his choice makes him look like he's backing particular councillors. And I don't think it's fair on him.
Okay.
Why don't we ask this council now whether we should decide as a council who goes on the town board? Why don't we have that vote?
Okay. Thank you for that. Just give me 1 minute to think about this.
Okay.
I'm just taking a second to slow this down so that I can think about what has just been said. Okay, so I will come to you shortly, but I'm just saying we're going to take a second now to slow this down. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take the outstanding questions first. Who's on the list? So it's Councillor Mosdale.
So my question is, Councillor Love has just given us advice that we should look to just ratify the people who've always been put forward by Ryde Town Board. However, the monitoring officer has just agreed that there is 3 nominations from this council to go for this council to vote. So if the monitoring officer is saying, we've got 3 nominations, let's put it to the vote for those nominations, why are we then getting advised by the chair of the council that the advice is that there are 2 candidates from Ryde Town Board and we should just ratify them? Are we voting or are we ratifying? And is the advice from the chair of the council what we should be aiming on, or what the advice of the monitoring officer is, that we have 3 nominations and this council should vote for those 3 nominations. That's what I'd like clarity, because you are both saying different things. Even in my little world, they're not the same advice.
Thank you. Councillor Jarman.
Thank you, Chair. I think you said you didn't want this to become a mess, but I think it probably already is. I think it became a mess at the first time this was raised several meetings ago, when disclosures were not made, appointments had been made and the names were not disclosed to us. But passing on from that, the situation now from the government advice itself is very clear, that the chair needs to be appointed in a certain manner. I don't know if that's been done, because it has to be with the will of this council, and I think it's not been brought before this council. The second thing is that it differentiates between the appointment of 2 members of this council and the other members of the board. The 2 members appointed by this council are wholly separate in that government documentation than the other members of the board. That means that this council has the ability to itself to appoint those 2 individuals. And I think we should get on and do that, and do it now.
We had this last time, and there's some statements being made here that are based in, as far as I can see it, absolutely no factual evidence at all. What's very clear, I don't know about disclosure about the last meeting, that the chairman was selected by Solent Partners in an open and transparent way, and as the guidance lays out, and you were sent it this afternoon by the monitoring officer. Board members, this is what it says. This is the guidance, the terms of reference for the Ryde Town Board. Board members can only be appointed by agreement of the chair in consultation with the Isle of Wight Council as the accountable body. Where you believe, I'm speaking, thank you, Councillor Jarman.
Yeah, let him have his, please.
So I think we're all aware, those of us who have looked at it, that the terms of reference of the Ryde Town Board in that respect differ materially from the government guidance in that respect. And I don't think that the Ryde Town Board can adopt terms of reference which are at variance to the national guidelines.
Okay, because we've clearly got a difference of opinion across the chamber about what is and what is not happening. And somehow we've got to resolve this particular position, and I don't want it to go on to another meeting. Okay, so what I propose is that because we've got a difference of approach, that this council now votes whether it's going to follow the approach and the advice of the monitoring officer, or whether if it's going to accept the advice of the of basically Councillor Jordan's experiences. So that's what I'm proposing.
Chair, if I can just come in.
We tried to find a way through this, which is reasonable.
Yeah, if I can bring some.
Got 2 different approaches. Yeah. Don't be aggressive with me. That we are not having any aggression in this court.
It's not a court, it's the
No,
council.
in
and
this
that's our
council.
monitoring officer,
Yes,
and
well,
I'm really sorry.
can you please be quiet and press your button and put your hand up? I'm going to do that with everybody, to treat everybody fairly. Okay, we are going to stay calm and collective, because there is clearly some difference between where people are. What I'm going to propose now is it is actually now 8:15. I'm going to take an adjournment now so that I can listen to the debate. That's what I'm going to do, because I think that that's the right thing to do so that I can have a considered response. And it is a break time. That's what I'm calling. 10 minutes, please.
mess that shouldn't have been. It's not your fault. I'd like what's read out is the chairman sent a
So thank you, everybody, for coming back in. I accept that this is quite a stressful and difficult thing that we've entered into here. I am proposing that we follow a vote for the 3 nominations, and that the we will recommend them to that board in RIDE, and they themselves are an independent board. What they then do from that is their business. Okay, at this point, our duty here today is to nominate the 3 candidates. Sorry, the 2 candidates, and there are 3. Sorry, there are 2 candidates, and there are 3 people nominated. My apologies for that. I'm doing that because this is the process that I believe that we need to follow at this point. It has been difficult because of the way that it came about in the first place. I'm not intending to take any more comments from that because we're just going to move forward. Okay. So, monitoring officer, could you please announce the candidates and how we're going to vote on this?
Thank you, Chairman. We have 3 nominations to act as representatives of the local authority, and obviously there are 2 vacancies which are listed as a mandatory requirement from the local authority. So the candidates are Councillor Phil Jordan, Councillor Karen Lucioni, and Councillor Warren Drew. So if ask you first to indicate whether you're in favour of Councillor Phil Jordan, please.
Sorry, can I just check first that the candidates are willing to stand? Are the candidate? I'll come to you in a moment, Councillor. Are the candidates willing to stand? Yes. Yes. Councillor Lucioni? Yep. And Councillor Jordan? Yep. Thank you. So have you got a point of order? Because I'm clarification.
Are you saying that although we have the possibility, the ability to propose 2 people, we can only vote for 1, which is very unusual?
No, I'm not saying we can.
So how are you going to track that everybody's already voted twice?
So, no, what we're going to do is we're going to do a general vote first. Just, oh, yes, I see what you're saying. Sorry, it took a second for that to drop. Just give me a moment with the monitoring officer.
Yes, just to clarify, under the procedural rules, I think members are probably familiar with it anyway. The voting procedure for appointments, very briefly, it says if there are more than 2 people nominated for any position, and there are, to be filled, and there is not a clear majority of votes in favour of 1 person, well, obviously there are 2 vacancies, which I think is Councillor Brodie's point, then the name of the person with the fewest votes will be taken off the list, etc. So because there are 2 vacancies, then we need to vote for the 3 nominations, and the one with least number of votes will obviously.
So,
well, okay, let's
just a moment, everybody, please. Okay, we've got a couple of points of order. Just Councillor Bacon.
To try and help the process, could I suggest that it might work if each councillor, when called upon, gives 2 names and the tally is taken from there?
That seems a reasonable idea to me. Thank you. Is everybody happy with that? Yep. No, I'm very happy. No, that's fine. I'm absolutely fine. So can we just make sure that you're organised to do that first before we go into that? Are you happy? So each councillor will be able to vote for 2 people. Yes, everybody's clear about that. Councillor Brading.
For total clarity, we can vote for a maximum of 2 people. We don't
Maximum
we
of
don't
2
have
people.
to vote for 2.
Yeah. I think it is a named vote, but I would like to see people show me that you want a named vote. Thank you very much. So it's a named vote, and we are voting for up to 2 people. We've got there in the end. Okay. Can we commence that vote then?
Thank you, Chairman. So it's clear, up to 2 candidates, the 3 named Councillor Jordan, Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Drew. So I'll read out the list of councillor names. Councillor Andre.
Councillor Jordan and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Jordan.
Thank you. Councillor Daw.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Jordan.
Thank you. Councillor Downer. Thank you. Councillor Fuller.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Jordan.
Thank you. Councillor Jones Evans.
Councillor Karen Lucioni and Councillor Phil Jordan.
Thank you. Councillor Lever.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Jordan.
Thank you. Councillor Lucioni.
Councillor Lucioni, that's me, and Councillor Jordan.
Thank you. Councillor PC Wilcox, please.
Councillor Jordan and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Stevens.
Councillors Jordan and Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Garris, please.
Councillors Jordan and Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Lilly. Thank you. Councillor Sarah Redrup, please.
Councillor Jordan and Councillor Drew.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Jordan and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Quigley.
Councillors Jordan and Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Beston, please.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Drew.
Thank you. Councillor Blake.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Drew.
Thank you. Councillor Brading.
Councillor Drew and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Churchman, please.
Councillor Drew and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Drew.
Councillor Lucioni and myself.
Thank you. Councillor Ellis, please.
Councillor Drew and Councillor Lucioni.
Thank you. Councillor Hendry, please.
Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Drew.
Thank you.
What he said, Councillor Lucioni and Councillor Drew.
Drew Lucioni. Councillor Lucioni and Drew.
Councillor Drew and Councillor Lucioni.
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 Councillor Jordan and Councillor Drew.
Lucioni and Drew.
Councillor Drew and Councillor Lucioni.
Councillors Lucioni and Drew.
Councillor Jordan, Councillor Lucioni.
Councillor Jordan and Councillor Luciani.
Use the old sheet, says Councillor Richardson.
Councillors Jordan and Lucioni.
Thank you for your patience during this particular vote, and we got there in the end, and democracy will be shown. Thank you. And so we have Councillor Luciani. Sorry. Luciani. I'm so sorry. Apologies there. With 36 votes. And then we have a tie with 20 votes each for Councillor Jordan and Councillor Drew, which means I presume that I have to use my casting vote.
Technically, you don't have to, but you're entitled to use your casting vote.
Well, I have to use my casting vote because otherwise we've got 3 people represented.
Can I just ask, Chair, would it be available for a runoff vote between the two last candidates effectively?
I think the vote has been taken and we agreed the system that as previous. I think that's my decision, that we agreed the system. And so we've arrived at where the chair needs to use his casting vote. So Councillor Jordan, congratulations, you are the elected member. But I thank everybody for their participation because it was quite difficult and we realised that there was a mess to start with, but we are there. So we can now move on, if I can find all my papers. So what I want to say is there's half an hour left to the end of the meeting and we have a motion. We're on the motion to debate. So I would like to try and get this motion agreed tonight, if at all possible. So I invite you to introduce your motion.
Thank you, Chair, and I promise I haven't written a lot to say. I'll be as quick as possible. Since the flooding the island experienced late last year, it's been ever more clear that the issue of sewage is something that us islanders are really concerned about. While personally, I'm not brave enough to go swimming in the sea all year round, my sister is a keen sea swimmer. Like a lot of people on the island, she swears by sea swimming to improve your health and overall well-being, which is very relevant considering this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. There are communities around the island that are formed for their love of sea swimming. Seaview Salties, for example, featured on the Channel 5 documentary Isle of Wight, Jewel of the South. And every year on Boxing Day, swimmers raise money for charity by braving the cold waters, which Jodie has only convinced me to do once. So I'm sure all of us were horrified to learn that the Boxing Day swimmers were unknowingly taking a dip where sewage had been released the night before. And in fact, in total, during 2023, sewage was being discharged into our waters for over 38,000 hours. This is completely unacceptable. And I recognise that there isn't just one magic wand that we can all wave, a singular remedy that will stop this from happening. It requires lots of little actions and collaboration between different agencies and individuals. There is much that is outside of the power of the Isle of Wight Council and us as councillors. We must also rely on Southern Water, the Environment Agency, the government, landowners and individuals to do their part too. However, what is within our power is the ability to be community leaders on this issue. We can encourage collaboration and communication between agencies, continue to foster good working relationships, and we can help educate others around us. There is already a lot of good work happening, and I was very pleased to read in the recent supplementary planning document around SUDS where it emphasised the importance of using permeable paving for driveways. And also the investment in my ward from Southern Water to install slow draining water butts. These are perfect examples of things that seem like really small changes, but together have a huge impact on the amount of surface water that overwhelms our drainage systems, which in turn leads to sewage releases. Surfers Against Sewage have also done a stellar job of raising awareness on this issue and have shown exemplary community leadership by reaching out to town, parish and community councils and even encouraging groups to do their own water testing. So, in summary, I hope that this motion puts into words how many of us feel on this issue, and I would like to say a special thank you to Councillor Susie Ellis, Councillor Joe Lever, Councillor Michael Lilly and the Surfers Against Sewage for all their support on this motion, and I hope that you feel that you can support it as well.
Thank you. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Ellis. Would you like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, briefly. Thank you, Sarah. I think I'm quite sure it will not come as a surprise to any of you that I fully support this motion, which aims to address the alarming issue of sewage discharge into our rivers and seas. The statistics presented are deeply concerning and they highlight the urgent need for action. As a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, the Isle of Wight holds a unique responsibility to safeguard its natural heritage. By passing this motion, we reaffirm our commitment to environmental stewardship and the well-being of our community. I would urge all members to please support this motion and take a proactive stance in protecting our waters and the health and well-being of our residents. Let's work together towards the goal of zero sewage releases into the sea, rivers and watercourses of our island by 2030 to ensure a cleaner, healthier and more sustainable future for all our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? So we have a few names, sorry, already. We'll note the names down. Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Redrup, and to Shani at Surfers Against Sewage and Susie and everyone else for got involved. But also thank you for seeking input, because at no point has Sarah tried to do this alone, which I think is really important on something that affects us all. But the real story here is that when given the opportunity to do something about this nationally, our MP chose not to, and has left it to a small unitary authority, that being the Isle of Wight Council, to do what he won't. So I'd like to see, well, I know there's a lot of people at that side of the chamber that do support, but I'd like to see a lot of support for this, because this has put us in a position we'd never really wanted to be in. So I will fully support this motion. Councillor Redrup, well done.
Thank you. If I could just ask people to keep their questions very brief if you want to get to the vote on this. Sorry.
Thank you, Chair. I have an amendment to propose to this motion, which I've discussed with the proposer this evening. It's to change a very few words in the last paragraph, which is to take a positive and proactive lead on this issue and work with all stakeholders to ensure that sewage releases into island watercourses and into the sea surrounding the Isle of Wight are zero by 2030. So the changes there are to include the word all before stakeholders and into island watercourses and into the sentence.
For that?
I'll second that.
Seconded. We need to vote on that, I believe. Yeah. So can sure.
Can I ask?
I accept we don't need to vote on it. I accept it.
It's fine. Thank you. You have it. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So can we vote on that, please? Oh, no, sorry, we don't need to. Yes, yes, you accepted it. Sorry. Apologies. So
thank you. I'm very happy to support this very, very important motion that Councillor Redrup brought forward. Our water quality is so important to us, not only us as human beings, but to our planet as well, and all the ecosystem and all of the plant and flora and fauna that rely on clean water. And I think we've all just had enough of companies just not taking care of our earth. And it's just time that they were called out on this. And I really hope that we can move forward to having our important utilities that are bringing us life and bringing the planet life back into public ownership and not being run for profiteering. I mean, I'll open up the county press this morning to get my sort of daily catch up of news, and the top story was about about a spoof place that Nish Kumar is now calling a tourist attraction called SH Star T Beach. This refers to cows. In fact, it has the second worst spills to Torbay in the country. So it's really, really important that we talk about this, because no one else is really taking it seriously, doesn't seem. As far as the SUDs go, very happy that in Newport we're having the SUDs as part of our HAS scheme in the High Street. So I think, again, really good to see that. That's something that we can do as an authority to bring in these ameliorations. But, you know, Councillor Quigley's quite right. It's got to change from the top. I'm very happy to support you today, Councillor Redrup.
Councillor Lilly.
Just quickly to say, this
council voted for climate emergency some years ago, and it was cross-party. It was myself working very strongly with Steve Hastings, and we actually had a vote, or the majority of it. Also, some members over there actually voted against it at the time. It was actually cross-party, so I welcome the fact and welcome the hard work and input of members in actually coming forward with that. I'd also like to say that the staff of Southern Water on the island are islanders, and they actually work very hard for the community, and they've worked in partnership with Surfers Against Sewage in putting this together. I totally agree with Councillor Quigley that really, you know, the shareholders and the people that own Southern Water should have our wrath, and should there needs to be legislation that their bonuses go and they are fined. But on the ground, the staff have worked hard in this motion that is actually deliverable. And I think one of the particular things I'd highlight in it is actually having testing across the island to actually warn people that when the water is unsafe. On the 14th of May in my ward and on my beach, there was a discharge. It was a beautiful day, and actually people were swimming in the sea, but no one had told them, unless they'd had the app from Surfers Against Sewage, that that actually was dangerous. And we do need to have testing regularly of the water and have some form of boards in areas that actually does clearly say to people whether it is safe to go into that water. I saw children on the 14th paddling in that water where we knew it was unsafe. So I hope you will support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm aware that we need to very shortly vote if you want to get this through tonight. So, Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Chairman. I have concerns about this motion. It is a high-profile issue nationwide, but my main concern is that this island is a tourism destination. Do you really want to spread inaccurate information to tell potential visitors that our beaches are contaminated with raw sewage? Because that's what's happening. Example, Yarmouth, terrible, terrible, a national issue. My town, Sandown, is dependent upon tourism, so it's difficult for me to support this motion. Other issues I have is that most of these actions are already happening. And Councillor Quigley's inappropriate comments about the MP, let me just read out some of the stuff that's already happening. Southern Water has made this island an example of national best practice by reducing storm overflows and cleaning up the environment. This means the island is amongst the first to trial solutions such as slow drain water butts and sustainable drainage systems. Southern Water have allocated £230 million to the island's network. This is the equivalent of £3,500 per household for the Isle of Wight. It includes 11,000 more water butts, 9,000 sustainable drainage systems, which is what the motion asks for, improvements to 550 driveways, 312 sustainable roadside rain gardens, major works in the Sandown.
Councillors, please let him finish.
The motion implies that this council has done little to date, and most of us, I know, have been engaged. Perhaps the newer councillors don't know that. I've personally been to Southern Water plant works 3 times, and I've been briefed and told what they're doing and so on and so forth. And I know some of the other councillors here have done similar. Are we implying that we have done nothing? You know, we're idling. Are we saying that the cabinet member has done nothing? And I know he's been working hard at this. I just feel that we are exaggerating what is happening. Most of us know that what is being discharged is not raw sewage at all. It is grey water. Most of it is rainwater. Okay? Thank you, Chair.
Councillors, please.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart, I propose that you're going to be the last one, unfortunately, because of time, if we want to vote on this. So, well, I'm sorry that I need to draw this. So, Councillor Stewart, please, very briefly.
Briefly. There is no doubt that as islanders, we support this motion. So I'm just adding to that because I feel certainly after Councillor Ward's statement, there is something to say. It is true that Southern Water staff are very supportive. It is also true that Southern Water, as a corporate greedy corporation, is not supportive. They're quite happy sucking out money while they pump out sewage. There is a failure of regulation. There is a failure of support and funding for the Environment Agency. There is a lack of government support, and that is because our MP needs to grow a spine and stand up for islanders. I'll stop there.
Thank you. So I'm going to, because time is very short, and I do apologise, Councillor Adams, I'd want to go to sum up so that we can actually have a vote. It's important that we have the vote.
Thank you. I'll keep this very short. While I can definitely understand your concerns around tourism, I think it would be an even better message to say this is an issue that's happening nationally and the Isle of Wight won't stand for it. We will improve things and make sure that our tourist destination continues to be the jewel of the South and not something more negative like having the second worst releases in cows. The other issue about things that we're currently doing, yes, we are currently doing, which is why I acknowledged that in my speech. And also in my motion, I said to continue managing, to continue, because we were already doing things. But I think that as the islands saw the very concerning flooding and sewage releases during the flooding, that they want to see that their councillors are doing something about it together and that we agree that we want to do something about it. So I hope that you all can support this motion. And I would like to have a name vote on this. Thank you.
Yeah, it can be. So I want to move to that immediately, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Named votes, Councillor Andre.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Bacon.
Very much for.
Thank you. Councillor Daw. For. Councillor Downer. Councillor Fuller.
For.
Councillor Jones Evans.
For.
Councillor Lever.
For.
Councillor Lucioni. Not here. Councillor PC Wilcox. Councillor Stevens. Gone. Councillor Garrett. Thank you. Councillor Lilly. Councillor Sarah Redrup.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Stewart.
For.
Councillor Quigley.
For.
Councillor Beston.
For.
Councillor Blake. Councillor Brading. Okay. Councillor Churchman.
Churchman, abstain.
Thank you. Sorry. Abstain. Councillor Drew.
For.
Councillor Ellis.
For.
Councillor Hendry. Thank you. Councillor Mosdell.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Nicholson. Thank you. Councillor Oliver. For. Thank you. Councillor Outlaw's gone. Councillor Price.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Quirk.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Ray Redrup.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Robertson.
For.
For.
Sorry. Thank you. Councillor Medland.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Spink.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Jordan.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Love.
For.
And Councillor Christensen.
For.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes that particular vote.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's 32 votes for and 3 abstentions, and that is therefore carried. Congratulations on that. So council, we now have just 5 minutes left for questions. And we already have one, so we're literally going to stop exactly on the button. Councillor Daw.
Thank you, Chair. Very quickly to Councillor Fuller. It's safe to say that the flood mitigation scheme in Binstead, despite assurances, Paul, and timescales, frankly, has been pitiful at best. The 29 houses that were flooded in July of 2021 are no safer now than they were then. The S19 report was published in 2022, and here in 2024, none of the recommendations, despite the secured funding, have happened. The work that would play the biggest part in this mitigation scheme in Binstead, I was informed, would be starting mid-February. Here we are in mid-May and not one blade of grass is disturbed for the digging of the suds. I've played my part. Through the support from all members, I've secured the funding that we thought was needed for the suds. It is banked and ready to use, with additional funding being secured in November last year. Full council also supported a budget to facilitate additional gully cleaning. As a ward member, I am powerless to force the works to happen. I could take my own digger out there. The residents I represent remain at the mercy of the weather, when now they should be protected. Can the cabinet member please take this forward, push it robustly to ensure that the works that are required, i.e. the digging of the suds, the works that have been funded, modelled and promised will be delivered, and I mean diggers in the ground, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, please. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, there was a public meeting that was scheduled a few weeks ago. Very, very happy to push that forward. Absolutely sympathise with the residents that's been affected in Binstead, and I will do everything that I can to ensure that that scheme that we have for Binstead is put in place. I know the SRFCC did allocate extra funding for that last year, and that I've had the assurance from the chairman of that organisation that that money is still available and will be used for that purpose. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Very briefly, please. We might just have a chance for one more question.
Thank you, Chair. I absolutely, Councillor Daw, absolutely agree with Councillor Fuller and commit to firstly finding out why it's taken so much time and work with Councillor Fuller to get that scheme delivered. I've been around quite a long time when that scheme was discussed 8 years ago, 10 years ago even. Time to get it done. We'll find out why it hasn't started or hasn't been delivered, Councillor Daw, and we'll let you know through Councillor Fuller. I'm sorry for the frustration for your residents and community. We need to do a bit better on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you, Councillor Fuller. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not proposing to take any more questions now because it is 58, almost on the hour. So it doesn't look like there's any more questions anyway. So we will call that a day. And thank you so much, everybody, for making it so interesting, my first meeting. Thank you.